All right, family, God bless you. It's the time you've been waiting for. Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard, your resource and information show for people getting better with age. Well, let me tell you, the sixth ward is jumping. As I would say, it is jumping, it is alive. And this is our second candidate joining us. Let me tell you, he is no stranger. He is all about love, rebuilding, and redeveloping his community. He is none other than our good friend, Mr. William E. Hall. Everyone stay tuned. Senior Talk will be right back after our commercial opening. Stay tuned, everybody.
I was getting used to that.
All right, everyone. As I mentioned, we are live here on Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard. Also behind me is our campaign initiative called Senior Votes Matter. And William Hall is no stranger to caring for seniors and being about the business of serious business. He is a good friend of mine, met him just recently, but you know, when you have like mind and you're doing the right thing, we come together. That's right. So let me tell you this. I am so excited. We are almost 27 days and counting?
Yeah.
To February 28th. Woohoo! And I want to welcome you to Senior Talk. So let's do this. We're going to get the preliminaries out the way. Introduce yourself to the people. Tell them who you are. And then we're going to get into the meat of why William E. Hall is running for Alderman of the 6th Ward. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you for your work. You have been consistent in making sure that resources and advocacy on behalf of our wise and witty. I like to say wise and witty.
Okay, let's put it together. Mine is called People Getting Better with Age on the other side of it.
There you go. Okay. So boom. But I'm a lifelong resident of the 6th Ward. I know no other neighborhood, though I've traveled the world, seen a few things and met a lot of people. I always come back home. Everything is started on the same block, 84th and Wabash. And even my church, where I've been pastoring for now going into my 10th year, is on 80th in Michigan. So this ward, I've been through the ups and the downs. I'm grateful for the neighbors that raised me, shaped me. Miss Mamie Teal was my neighbor. So though I never met Emmett, I've learned a lot about him through her. And her husband, Gene Mobley, was our barber growing up and gave us what we were not supposed to. My brother was supposed to not get any parts, but he's tried to sneak and get a Nike sign. He put a box in his head. So that's the Mr. Mobley that we knew. And so growing up on a block of so much Black history and so much morals and values instilled in me, I feel like we can rebuild something and build upon what we have that can make it good for the next generation and the next generation.
Absolutely. Let me say this. I'm going to go back to your statement about the Teal family. I am good friends with his cousin, Ollie Gordon.
Oh, wow.
And so we've been on the show. We've been campaigning. You know, we always put our advocacy up in support of her late daughter, Erica Gordon Taylor. So we're still in the game with them. And thank you for mentioning that as well. So William Hall, you have traveled the world.
Yeah.
You've been boots on the ground. You are currently Director of Faith Community Partnership with the Child Welfare Advocacy Group of UCAN.
Yeah.
And you have been in ministry at the church for going into your 10th year, but grew up into an environment that has been, that you see now it's time for you to run. For real? With all the stuff you're doing, you want to decide to run. So tell me, why is William Hall running for the Alderman of the 6th Ward?
The question was raised similar to John Kennedy. What can you do? And that's what I can do. I can build. And I'm running because just like those who are watching, many of us are concerned about what direction the ward is going. We need clarity. We need consistency in leadership. Secondly, I'm running because I want to be safe too. I haven't left. I've never left. 38 years, I've been in the same neighborhood, and I haven't left because I don't want to. You know, when it came to choosing different ministries and the places I worked, whether it was from Dr. Brazier at Apostolic to Trinity with Dr. Moss, I've always come back home, and that was always my desire, is to lead and serve in my community. And so it's the expansion of that leadership and work, but I want it to be safe. I mean, we've all heard, we've seen, we've felt the effects of violence, all types of violence. And so I think it is violent that we don't have but one grocery store and we're living in a food desert. I think it is violent that we have methadone clinics and not mental health clinics as well. Like, the access to the basic things that make life worth living, they're not present, and they're not present in the masses for this ward. And so I want a community that's safe, not just through the lens of police, but safe enough to enjoy the quality of your life. So I want to fight the crime that has been seen over and over again. Nothing for us, but something for everybody else. And then working with the police, I do think that we need a strategy. There's no presence in the 6th district right now of leadership, right, from the police. And so what I believe is we are lacking a strategy. It's evident that cops are fatigued. Officers are tired. Officers are worn out. They're lost their vacation time. I mean, and so there's this responsibility, but it's hard on our police. And so I think mental health clinics are important. I think mental health resources are important. A lot of people that are committing the crimes that we are seeing, petty, every crime is big, but the crazy vandalism or breaking windows and things of that nature, we had our church vandalized in October. If you look at the tape, the brother, hair was all over the place, was with just one shoe and just throwing bricks. I mean, mentally distressed. And so we have to figure out a way to make sure that people have the resources they need. Hurt people hurt people. It's a lot of hurt people that's going to and from our neighborhoods. And so a combined plan that is rooted in dignity and safety is what I'm looking forward to building. And growing our small businesses. We have a lot of great small business. Soul Veg, Limbs, Brown Sugar Bakery. I mean, we got the wood shop. We can go get art artifacts as well as frames. And I think that we can grow and expand upon that. I think we can, grow what we have and attract more. There's the possibility of a winery coming and work better at what we have, right? As it protects neighbors and businesses, keeping our neighborhoods clean. And the biggest way to make a neighborhood, one of the biggest ways rather, is with brighter lights. That's a safety issue, going back to what we were talking about earlier. So brighter boulevards, brighter side streets with funding that we'll talk about later. But that's why I'm running. That's a lot to do.
That's a lot to do. So I want to pull something up that I found. As I mentioned, your team at Friends of William Hall for the 6th are the bomb. They're awesome. They're responsible. I love those girls and that community team that you built. But I want to show you something, and I want your response to it. Everyone, stay tuned.
I took care of the Lord's work in the Lord's house. Now I'm knocking doors, listening to people in their homes. Let me tell y'all something. If you don't get out and walk and listen, you ain't gonna win nothing. Won't be a good leader. He who talks much, don't stop. On a Sunday. In these last days, to witness me, paradise like relaxing. Black, Latino, and Anglo-Saxon. I'm on the exchange, the range, cash, Lord, Travis, Shabazz, free at last, brand new whips to crash, then we laughing.
Yeah, man.
About that. And that's one of the key tools. I think what you're talking on, and you have a spirit like myself. I remember years ago when in our communities on election day, we had what they call precinct captains knocking on the doors.
That's right.
Did y'all go vote? Let's go. That energy, we need the walking, we need the engagement of our political officials or our elected officials coming to our door and saying, hey, this is my face, this is who I am. I mean, it's one thing to send out leaflets, we got plenty of them, but why not make a personal contact? Even our cops. We knew who our cops were in our community, just coming around, not just because, we call 911. Hey, I'm here. How you doing, Mr. or Mrs. such and such? Oh, your kid was on the corner. Come on back home. There was a group environment. It was a community, all hands on deck response years ago. And I think you're hitting on something. So I'm very excited about that. So let's talk about it. We're going to start from the top. I did some research. I put this whole show together just for you.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. What is your thoughts? Prepared to say this. On clergy in politics?
That's a good question. My thoughts is it's needed, it's necessary, and we've seen it work. Raphael Warnock, the whole country and even the world was watching Georgia, right? The first time a black man, sat in the seat of the United States Senate. It's worked. It's worked. Adam Clayton Powell, he built New York. He built lives in New York, while at the same time building Abyssinian Baptist Church, one of the leading churches in the nation. Rest in peace, Reverend Dr. Calvin Butts, who recently passed, and as the senior pastor of the church. So I think that we try to draw these lines because that's, as Reverend Willie Barrow would say, a reverend in the Lord's church. Say we're not so much divided as we are disconnected.
Yes.
So whenever there's a disconnection from the people in the pews to the people that make the policies, that's a problem. People that come into my church are sitting in the church pews dealing with ordinances that are causing pain, taxes that nobody clearly stood and considered their voice.
Yes.
Our seniors, I was just disturbed at the food that they were eating at these satellite centers that are sponsored by the cities. And so to be in the room and to be at the table to essentially be the voice and to build on behalf of the dignity of people is what the work of the church is. I don't know a Jesus that wasn't a community organizer. I mean, let's be clear. He fed 5,000. That's social services, right? People that had issues in their mind, he sat and had a conversation. That's mental health, right? The man on the side of the road, he talked about the need to not be running into a building, but to serve in the street. I don't know blue eyes, perm hair, in a white guy. No, I know a community organizer that died because he gave everything he had to make sure that the poor had a voice and that those who were in need got help. And let's not forget, this month we celebrate Black History Month, but last month we celebrate Dr. King, who was a pastor of a church that Raphael Warnock is now pastoring.
Yeah.
And so the entire civil rights movement, the conversation started in the basement of the church. And so
let me interrupt for 1 second. Now you're looking at our screen, and this is you in the room with Senator Warnock.
Yes.
What is going on in your mind? I'm looking at you, and what was going on to have that experience at that time?
So Dr. Warnock, Senator Warnock, I met him when I worked at Trinity, over close to 15 years ago. And he used to come and do revivals. And it was at that moment that I was very amazed at his intellectual roots and his depths of his mind frame as a minister. And so years later, just, still listening and following this giant of a man. And Dr. Moss called me. He said, "Hey, Will, what are you doing Sunday?" I said, "Church." He said, "You need to be at the 7:00 service." And I said, "Yes, sir." And just like old days. And I asked him a question on that Sunday. What would you say to me as a young man running for office and a pastor? He said, "Run authentically as yourself. Run as yourself." And so that picture, we were literally coming out of the office. I was preparing to go to Leak and Son, their broadcast. And we were stopped by some young people. And of course, they wanted to talk to him. And I knew the lady behind him. So it was a classical moment. Grateful that Terrence Creighton caught the picture.
All right. So I love your response to that. It was very, very, very authentic, as you said. So let's talk about this. What are your top 3 initiatives upon being elected 6th Ward Alderman? What are your top 3 initiatives that you would like to, because you live off of your campaign is off of 3 principles: love, build, and serve. What are your top 3 principles or initiatives as the soon to be newly elected Alderman of the 6th Ward?
Well, number 1 is public safety. And I'm definitely having meetings with commanders, sergeants, even superintendent, whoever that superintendent is, to ask the tough questions, the questions that the people in the ward have been asking me as I've been knocking on doors. Where's the plan? Over $1.6 billion in public safety, and nobody is safe. So I'm having those conversations. Secondly, I am going to be having conversations with Senator L.G. Sims and State Representative Nick Smith and others, Flowers, right there in the border, and others who are elected to ask the questions: can we have some money in the state capital budget to invest in new lighting? We need lights in the ward. When you go downtown, those aldermen are not pitching pennies to pay for those lights that make downtown bright. Those are investments made in a menu budget of $1.3 million. For those that don't know, that's the alderman's infrastructure budget. It's things like streets, curbs, and what have you. There's not enough money in any budget, a menu budget, to lighten up a ward. And so I'm going to have the conversations and see and be in alignment with not only Senator L.G. Sims and State Rep Nick Smith, but we have a commissioner in county government. Look at what alternatives we can, find in county budget to maybe bring alternatives like solar and whatever initiatives that can make the neighborhood literally brighter through lights. That's my public initiative, coupled with, lastly, in that public initiative, organizing our block clubs. Our block clubs need to be connected, and we need to figure out a way to keep everybody on one page as it pertains to resources, concerns, issues, and connection to myself. So I'm going organizing. There are those who I know, those who I don't know. And when there's an absence of block clubs, then let's look at regional block clubs that stretch 2 or 3 blocks at a time to continue to keep some type of communication going. Secondly, our seniors. I look at a lens of go, not come. And it disturbs me. Oh, we have a ward night meeting with the aldermen. Come. What if they can't? Right? What if all they're coming is downstairs? And so I'm looking at what can I bring to every senior in the ward that's housed in our buildings so that the ward office comes to them and we're not expecting them to come to us. We don't want any senior left behind. I'm concerned about the meals that I saw seniors eating in our satellite centers. I think that we need healthy alternatives, fine dining, because our seniors have paved the way. This is the beltway of so many neighborhoods: Inglewood, Chatham, West Chatham, Park Manor, West Chesterfield, and Woodlawn. And so we have these touches, and we need to stay connected through quality care for our seniors. Our seniors need to be protected. We need to make sure that seniors are having services come to them just in case they're disabled, just in case they don't know. So we're going to develop a very strategic plan to do such for our seniors. And then lastly, we're going to make sure our young people compete. We have great schools.
Amen.
I like that. And I'm turning every school. We're going to work hard to make sure that every school is a global school. Our children might not be able to get on airplanes, but we hope that they will get on airplanes and have competitions with partners across the country and the world. And so I think that we need to look at supplemental resources. Again, this idea of standing in line, begging and politicking on a city budget in which, he who does what might get something. No, we look at philanthropy. We look at Jeff Bezos' wife. She donated billions of dollars, right? So we bring in our philanthropy community. We look at also our community partners, our faith-based institutions, partnering with them to provide supplemental resources, even using buildings in the community for our babies. We don't have a youth center and we don't have a senior center. That's state of the art. Those are things that are priorities. Our centers, we lost Mathers, right? In exchange, we got a restaurant that's great, but we need a place where seniors can go, that our wise and witty can do line dancing, can do whatever is necessary to let them have the joy they need, as well as our young people, right?
Okay. Stay there. Don't go nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
I have something for you. I want you to hold on. You may have to get your tissue. But this is the strength of why I knew it was important to have you in competition, but also to advocate as you have and done. Stay tuned. It's going to warm your heart.
So my sign ain't Tuggle. So I wanted you to be the first one to have my sign.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
All right. That is none other than Dr. Joyce H. Clark.
Yeah.
What did that moment mean to you? Tell us about it. It's okay. We got time.
A lot of things. You got me. You. She was and she still is. She still is. Conspiracies don't die, memories last forever. And she was a very strong presence physically. She was a small woman, but with a big heart. And she really just agitated and pushed. And what I mean by agitated, she just never allowed anything to be subpar. Tough love at times, tough conversations. She was a therapist by profession, fought for young people to have those social services needed in Chicago public schools. And so she saw a future in me, and she and just gave and just exposed me to. We were happy poor, and so for me playing tennis, it wasn't because we could afford it. It was because she donated the lessons. And so it's that kind of community that we've lost.
That's what you call the wise and the witty.
Right.
That's right. That's direct.
So saw her like, so she's our honorary chair because I wanted her wisdom and Mr. Dan, who both of them slipped away. They both passed away. That type of wisdom is what, motivates me.
Yes.
Being close to them. And so, that's
a beautiful thing. Well, we're going to soften up just a little bit. I want to show those who are watching and tuning in, and thank you to everyone, to our comments from Michael Perry, we love you, and from Phyllis Rogers. We want to also tell everyone to visit the website, williamhall46.com. It is loaded with events up to date on a daily basis. Now, this is something that I created, seeing you in the community, and I want to share with our viewership today. Everyone stay tuned.
You good.
All right. So this was important because one of the things that I tell people, and as I had the pleasure of interviewing Reverend Sharpton about 3 weeks ago, I said, we're not going to keep meeting about the next meeting. So we need people to be serious. And so I see you on the bus stop, in the drive-thrus, knocking doors. So this is a whole time to impact for you. You have endorsements from the United Working Families, Cook County College of Teachers Union, et cetera, even our state of Illinois governor and Roland Burrs. What? So you've been doing your work. So what does all this advocacy mean? I mean, where are we right now? And what can we do as a community? We're listening to your platform and we are encouraged. We have a few more town halls to attend. I know, as I told people, we're 27 days and counting. For one of our elected officials and some to make history. What are we doing the next 27 days? How can we be helpful to you? And how will you be coming into the community?
Yeah, thank you for just this question. Again, I love your energy and I love your show. One of the things you can do is just tell everybody about us. I'm humble enough to admit that I don't know everybody, and I'm looking forward to meeting as many people as I can. There are people that are watching that don't live in the ward, but you might know somebody that lives in the ward. And so as many people as I can listen to. I mean, this has just been a listening tour going back to August, and the things that I've been listening to, I believe we can get done in our lifetime within the next 2-3 years. And so that's why February 28th, we're focusing on building something great. But if I don't know what to build, we can't build it. And so I just need people to tell them to go online, williamhall46.com, tell them to come by the office, even donate. We need help. Those endorsements we are grateful for. We are making investments. Our fundraiser that we did before. And on February the 19th, on the third Sunday, we're doing it inside the ward. We've spent close to 80% of a lot of our small business support in the ward. And so we want to invest in the ward. And so your donations is an investment into small businesses, those who are doing the work that depend heavily. And so your support will really help us. So telling people, going online and donating really means a lot. And show up and volunteer. We are what they consider old school because we are knocking doors one door at a time. This is going to be built one block at a time. So there's things that you can do, help phone bank with us.
That's what I was going to say. Y'all got the phone banks?
I can't show it all because people may be watching, but I got a stack about this big of people to call back because they got questions about me.
Yeah.
These are people that I met on the trail. So I got to call people. And so, yeah, help them with this phone bank.
Well, I'm encouraged for you. And I like the old school, I just like the old school rhythm, and if I can't support you, if I have not seen you, if that's like I tell you, if you haven't come by my door or said hello or been present or available to me, it makes a big difference. You know what I mean? It's a big difference. So, all right, I ain't gonna make you cry internally again, but I have one more thing that I have to share.
I'll tell you this, Oprah ain't got nothing on you. Happy birthday, Oprah.
Ooh, happy birthday, Oprah. But look,
hey,
I'll create my own team. Let's do it right here.
Just don't leave us and go to California with the rest of the stars.
All right, woohoo! And I approve that message. But let's do this. I got another tearjerker for you. I need you to hold on. I need you to do this in 30 seconds, and then we're going to close out with a final video. But you've been awesome. Check this out. Okay, that's you and at the pulpit, and that's with Raphael Noah. Talk about this picture.
Hey, yeah, that's my mom, and that's my superhero. That's my dad. My mom, man, she gave me the just the grind, man. I remember, especially growing up, my mom and dad. My dad went through a career shift, and he was trying to, get into that second rhythm. She carried the whole house. It was unemployment plus her, and she made a lot of sacrifices to make sure that we could have what little we did have. And my dad, a wise man and hardworking as well. So, without them, there's no me. And both of them, my dad and my mom, they mean the world, especially now that I'm getting older and they're getting the return on their investment and all the whoopings.
That's right. That's one of the things I tell you. I know I'm an advocate because I have lost my beloved, but the point is I am the investment. I am giving them a return on what they gave to me. And so it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I tell you, it's a big deal. So, all right, William, let me tell you, I got one more for you. This is what I found, and I want this will speak through you at this moment. Stay tuned.
Dear 6th Ward, I love you. I'm grateful for the time that we've shared for 38 years. Some of my neighbors are no longer the same, but the hope is still in this ward. And though the clouds have been dark lately, we will build. We will build on the wisdom and the voice and the ideas of those who made this the home of Nat Cole, the home of Ernie Banks. Hope for tomorrow so that when it's all said and done, we built it for the future. We built it for now. Because we will be safe. We will educate. We will take care of our seniors. We will make sure that every small business feels our support. We will live cross-generationally. And most of all, we will do it together. Let's build, let's live, and let's most of all love in the 6th Ward.
I have nothing else to say. Give us your closing remarks.
Well, again, thank you. Your work means a lot. And sometimes I know you might not get the thank yous or might not get the awards, but just know great is your reward on earth and heaven. Amen. And for the lives that you give so much joy to. Thank you. And thank you for making space for me today. And I just say to those of you that are watching, we are building something, and we're not here to destroy or tear down. We're here to build on what we have. And on February the 28th, it's the start of a process of unifying our ward. We have to organize together again. It's the beginning of a journey in which we collaborate. We have to work together. And it's the beginning of a journey in which we can all look back and see the wisdom and the hard work of those who sacrificed so much, leading middle class in Black America at one point. And so I do believe in this entire ward. There's no west side, no east side. This is one side. And that side is for us to work together to build something great. Bring back the joy in the ward and to bring back the hope. And some will say, oh, they have the experience. And some have said that their time has been. But I believe that your wisdom is what's needed in this time that we're in. I'm grateful for the wisdom of Reverend Jackson and traveling in the world and those Dr. Wright moments and just so many elders, my father, my mother. That wisdom is what carried me, Dr. Wilson, all of these people that have really shaped me and made me. But I want you to know that we're going to build it together with hands and hearts. And so voting for me will take some believing. And I know that you might be, who are you? You might not know my name, but you have seen my work. So hope to work with you continuously, hope to build something that you all are proud of, especially in the latter years of your life. God bless you all. Thank you.
Fantastic. And what we will also mention that early voting is now open. And I will encourage everyone, go to clarahubbard.org/voting. We have links, as he said, and I really believe in that. We can bring it to you. The Board of Elections should be going around saying, hey, y'all secure, y'all got your stuff in order. That's a recap show down the line, but we need to have our stuff in order. And we're going to take the time to make that happen. So I appreciate you. Best of everything to you personally, professionally, and much safety to you in these streets. I saw you stand at the bus stop one day and ride the bus. I said, what? Yes, you can, and you did. But it's been a pleasure, and we want everyone, please remember to go to williamhall46.com. He is on our advertising. He's marketing through Senior Talk. We're going to get him in the community where you need him to be. Also, he has 4 events coming up in the next 7 days. So stand by, at least 3 that I know of in the next 7 days. So pray for his strength, as we say. But what we want to say to you all is this: in complete darkness, we are all the same. It is only our knowledge and wisdom that separate us. Don't let your eyes deceive you. I've been Clara Hubbard, your granddaughter in the community, and we look forward to seeing you next time here on Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard. Thank you very much to our co-host, Mr. William Hall.
God bless you.